Well, it's going to its new home, but I'm getting something else in exchange. Alright guys, so all the Chulixes that I've owned are officially gone from the house now. I sold one, I traded another one. That's how I was able to get the fiber optic Nintendo sign. And then I've traded my last blue diamond blue Chulix, the first one that I ever worked on, and I've played a lot for this awesome thing here. The door's over there. I just left it open, but a 4-slot candy cabinet, MVS U4-29. Control panel, I'm probably gonna get this remade at some point. Not really too big of a deal. I know there's guys out there that'll convert this into 6-button layouts, which I can definitely do that too. Or 7 buttons, so I can keep this and then just add 3 buttons down here. It's totally doable. And then I have to add the decals to it, but I mean, it's a very solid shell. The monitor is super crisp. I need to adjust the color a little bit. I think it was a little too green, but it was a crystal clear image. And then the guy that I got this from, he had already made sure that the 4 slot's good, and then he made sure that everything was working correctly. So I tested it, worked out fine. And then it also came with awesome games. KOF 98, Samurai 2, KOF 99, and Metal Slug. So I love these games. Awesome games to add. And then I ended up selling my Goldie cabinet because I knew I was going to be getting this soon because I'd talked to the guy for a bit. And so my Chulix now is finally gone. So the first Chulix I ever worked on and heavily modified, that's the trade that we did. And he was happy with this. You know, this is bulky and heavy, but I wanted one of these so bad. And these are not like most standard candy cabs that are all glass fiber. These are solid metal cabinets. So this will be cool. I'm gonna clean it up because there's a little bit of dirt and stuff in there. It had been sitting in this guy's garage for quite a while. I'm gonna try to see if I can polish this to a mirror finish even better. So got a few things I want to do to this to clean it up. Add the decals that are on the sides here. There's some blue decals. I might add another decal here on the side just saying MVS just for kicks for me, you know, because this is mine and I can modify it however I want. Guy did do a few things. He added some of these little credit switches down here on the bottom. I need to add the graphic down here because the headphones do work, and then the memory slot does work as well. I'm gonna add some new locks. There wasn't any, but I mean, it's all there. The entire system is there. I'll probably just pretty up the wiring. Now, because this is my first candy cabinet, one of the things I do want to do is I do want to do the conversion for playing not just MVS games, but also other JAMA games. So I'm going to have to figure out the wiring for that, getting the JAMA harnesses for that, and then probably doing like a multi-switch for it or something like that down the road to make it all work how I want to. So we'll figure that out with time. Right now I'm just going to clean it up, make sure it's to my standards at least. But it's a great addition. Got a bunch of games with it, and I got a few of mine that I kept from the Goldie cabinet. So this will be a really nice MVS setup once I clean it all up and make it look shiny. First thing I did was immediately take the control panel off, and probably had never been cleaned in forever. It's been sitting for a long time. So there was a lot of gunk and stuff to remove. I removed this little thing in the front. There's some adhesive tape that goes right there that holds it in. It's really, really tight. But other than that, it comes right out. Just had to get a razor blade to get through there and cut it out slowly. And then there was a bunch of residue buildup around this area here. Oops, sorry. And so, you know, got removed all the gunk from here from the adhesive, and there was a bunch of residue around the button. You can see still some little leftover on the finish, but you don't see it because it's covered. I still sanded it out. So now looks like there's a little bit of damage here, but you can't really see it much because the control panel kind of covers most of it, which is normal. You know, these were probably in some Japanese arcade and someone probably dinged it up or something, got mad and lost the game or something. So I've already pretty much gone through with a very fine sandpaper and water sanded just the top. I didn't water sand the sides because they're honestly clean. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to polish it again. And so I'm going to do the mirror polish finish to go over and see how it'll clean up now that I polish it. It'll look much cleaner. I got to still clean the control panel. I'm going to leave that as is for now until I get a new project going for the control panel. You know, going with the 6 or 7 button layout so I can hook it up to anything I want. I'll probably get an original I'll probably get a reproduction of that at some point as well to keep it original if I wanted to later on down the road. But I mean, this is a really clean example. I mean, it's just dirty. It's been sitting for a long time, but a lot of these tend to be rust buckets, especially around the bottom here. These have a little bit of rust, but nothing major. So what I might end up doing is I might end up restoring this bottom metal part here. Make sure there's no rust in certain areas. There's a little bit of rust here, a little bit of rust there. It's common, you know, but regardless, this is a really solid foundation for me to work on. And if I ended up having to fix any rust issues, I'll probably just so there you guys go. It is in good order. I got that printed out here in my local FedEx or Kinko's and stuff. I just found it online. You can find it. And they do really good high quality prints. Probably change that out to an LED bulb down the road, but you know, it's working perfect. I have dialed in the monitor now. So it was showing too much green and it was too bright. So I had several issues. It was too bright, too green, and the colors were just, the image was too spread out. So I kind of centered it in and dialed in the colors really well on this thing. But there goes the control panel, is nice and clean. I've already found a guy out in Taiwan that's going to sell me a reproduction that's brand new of this already. And I found a site on Europe that'll provide me the entire decal kit. So that'll be the last thing I do on this thing. But other than that, I mean, this thing is in really good shape. So I figured I'd show you how to properly set these up as far as the color is concerned. So these open up. So what I like about this candy cane is these have an actual tempered glass in the front, and so you won't scratch the actual monitor on here, which is really good. Now, there's controls down here to control, you know, the vertical, the holes, and then the horizontal, the holes. And this is a dual sync monitor for 15 and 20, so low res and medium res. It's a Hitachi JMK 29 FSN. It's a really awesome monitor. Bright contrast, the red gain and then the blue gain. Now you don't see green. You actually have to go on the back of the monitor, and there's a picture that I posted where you can adjust the red, blue, and green and better overall. So you need to do that to adjust it properly. These are more like finer adjustments for contrast and brightness. The brightness is actually adjusted in the back on the flyback. So you can adjust the brightness and the contrast on the flyback to a greater extent. So I literally had to drop the brightness significantly because it was just too bright. So that leads me to believe the monitor is really strong, because you know, a lot of times when these monitors are dying, you have to raise the brightness up really high to get the image to appear, you know, nice and bright. Now this is crystal clear, looks really good. I'm pretty sure on the video it won't look as good, but trust me, in person it looks amazing. So I got the little locking mechanism there. Control panel is pretty much in good shape. So what I'm gonna do now though Close it back up here. And normally where these lock, the guy that I bought it from put store credit buttons there. So right now this isn't locking. And I honestly have to get the proper locking mechanism for it. See, he put buttons there for credits. So I'm gonna have to get that sorted out, get the right locking mechanism for it, which I can find one. The standard locks on all these other types of cabinets won't fit on those because the screw holes are slightly smaller. And then I don't have the locking mechanism for it up top. But I know you guys are wondering, whoa, where'd these come from? Well, I'm going to cover a video on these later on down the road. They're still not done yet. I've been doing a lot of work. I know I don't post videos all the time, but you'll see a video on these eventually, as I'm almost, quite honestly, I'm almost done with them. There's a few things I got to do. They were in really bad shape. You wouldn't even realize it, but it just, things are happening so fast that I have a hard time keeping up with everything and recording everything. But I figured at least I show you this really awesome addition to the game room. Thanks again, guys. I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I hope you guys are ready to see what's next.